Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Creating Cards with Debbie. I want to welcome you here today. And let me have a few moments to make sure that my sound and everything is working. I'm going to bring my iPad up to check everything. And it looks like I'm live. And let me see if my sound is good. It looks like I'm live. Okay, we're sounding good. All right. When you come on, please say hello. And I'm going to give a moment for everybody to get here. I maybe came on a little bit early. Let me switch my cameras around. All right, there you can see me. And I'm just going to give a moment for everybody to get here. Like I said, I'm creating cards with Debbie, and you're watching me on either YouTube or on Facebook. So either one is fine, and you can comment, and I'll see both of those at the same time. So don't worry. All right, today is Wednesday, October 9th, 2024, and my name is Debbie Foster, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas. So, like I said, I want to welcome you here today, and be sure you comment when you come on. Let me put my face back off of the camera here, and we're going to show my desktop, and we'll get into the housekeeping part. Okay, let me bring up some banners. Okay, if you'd like to shop any products that I'm showing today, you can shop in my store that's scrolling across the bottom, and that is www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And if your order is under $150, use that host code also that's scrolling across the bottom, which says 2M3GXHJM, and you'll use that code if your order is under $150. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at my email address, which is creatingwithdebbie179@gmail.com. And here's my blog address for getting all the instructions and dimensions on all the cards that I use. I've got quite a few in there, so you might want to look through them. And today's will also be up there, but I probably won't get it up there until tomorrow. I've got some errands I've got to run this afternoon. Okay, so let's get on to the housekeeping part. First off, we've got a special going on with Paper Pumpkin. If you sign up by October 10th, you're able to get, all right, that's not the one I wanted. I'm mixed up here. Okay, this is the one I want. So if you sign up on Paper Pumpkin by October 10th, you're able to get 40% off your first month's kit when you subscribe. You have to be a new subscriber. And you'll use the host code or use the code HOLIDAY40 at thepaperpumpkin.com. And if you need more questions on that or answers on that, just contact me. It was kind of confusing. I think I confused myself. All right, so Nests of Christmas is our Paper Pumpkin for October, and you have until October 10th to sign up for that. And it coordinates with the Nests of Winter Sweet collection. I'm needing somewhere to put all my paperwork here. Let me toss that aside over there. The October Paper Pumpkin kit, it says it's called Nests of Christmas. And it's spread some Christmas cheer with this cozy all-inclusive crafting kit. It makes 10 cards, 5 each of 2 designs with 10 coordinating envelopes. trifold card bases, and pre-cut gross grain ribbon. Pre-cut labels with specialty green foil. And the Stampin' Spot that comes with this one is the shaded spruce. Let's put that away. And also with that kit, you can add on the dies that coordinate with the next 3 months. So it'd be October, November, and December. And I've got mine right here. I don't know if you can see those. And we've got the leaf, the flower, and then the word that says Mary. So those you can add on to your Paper Pumpkin subscription for $12 extra. And the item number is 165639. Okay, and don't forget that we've got a stamp sale still going on. Today is the last day for that. And these are all the annual catalog. So you'll get 15% off. And it says, get that stamp set you've been eyeing from the 2024 to 2025 annual catalog at a discounted rate. This Stamptacular sale only happens once a year, so don't miss it. So that runs until today, midnight Mountain Time. I've got lots of notes here today, so bear with me. And also for October until October 31st, we've got up to 30% off all kits from our kits collection. These don't include the Paper Pumpkin kit. It's only the regular kits that are in our catalog or in our online. So it says up to 30% off. And this runs until October 31st. Each kit comes with everything you need to create a unique paper craft. We have options for card kits, treat packaging, home decor, and so much more. So if there's any kits that you've been eyeing, it's a good time to maybe get those while they're on sale. All right, and I'll go with that. I'm not going to read all that. Also, during the month of October, Stampin' Up! Is running a new promotion for your starter kits. Let me get those banners over there. Oops. Need to clear that one off. All right. Let me get back to my comments. Okay. So during the month of October, you can get your starter kit. You'll get $155 worth of products for just $99 when you sign up to be a demonstrator between October 1st through October 31st. But don't let that demonstrator word scare you away. You can just do this to get your discount. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to sell anything. You just do it to get your own discount. So become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator between October 1st and October 31st, and you'll get $155 worth of product in your starter kit for just $99. Your starter kit also includes free business supplies and free shipping, not to mention all the fun that comes with being part of our fantastic crafting community. There's no better time to join than now. And you don't only get me as your upline, you'll also get my upline and all the perks that go along with that. So it's really fun. We have all kinds of fun, lots of things to do. So our normal sign up is only, you get $125 worth of products. So they've upped it $30 more. So it's a good time to join. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Okay, it looks like I've gone through all of our notes that we need to go through. So let me set all those aside here. And we'll get on with the program here. All right, today we're going to be using out of our annual catalog. I've got a mess here. I've got all things stuck inside of my catalog here, so bear with me. So we're on page 40 is the bundle that we're using today. We'll be using the stamp set, the dies, and also the designer series paper that goes along with that. So it's Wildflower Designs, and the designer series paper is called Wildly Flowering 12 by 12 designer series paper. So let's go ahead and get started with our cards today. And I'm very glad that you're here today with me. All right. So I'm debating which card I want to start with. I think we're going to start with this one. So we're going to be doing some heat embossing with this card. And it's going to be a thank you card. So let me get all the bits and pieces out here so we can get a little bit organized. Okay, so it says thank you. And on the inside, it says so much. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Our card base is our Misty Moonlight, and it is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then it's scored in the center at 4 1/4 inches. And we're going to fold that and burnish that edge really good. And I'm going to set that aside for a moment. And then our next layer is our basic white. And this measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we have 2 of those. One goes on the inside. And this is a better look at our designer series paper. I do little sample sheets of my designer series paper. It makes it easier to look at, and I can get a better idea of what colors might go with it. So we're going to be using this pattern right here. And this is the back side. We're going to be using both sides of that paper. So our designer series paper is this side, and that measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And that's just going to go across our layer here. Let me go ahead and attach that using my adhesive of choice is my Tombow glue. So I'll put some glue on the back of that and attach that to our basic white layer. Be sure that you like and share the video. If you're watching it on YouTube, be sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. All right, and then our next layer is going to be our Misty Moonlight. And this measures 3 inches by 3 inches. Let me see. No, 3 1/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then our designer series paper measures 3 inches by 3 1/2 inches. So we're going to attach that, oops, wrong side, this side, to our Misty Moonlight layer mat there. And glue that down, keeping a border going all around that. And that's going to lay on top of our other layer right in the center, but I'm going to see which way I want my flowers to go. I guess like that. Well, yeah. attach that to our bottom layer. And center that. Kind of out of camera view. Let me get that back up here. That's going to go right in that center. And then we're going to go ahead and attach that to our card front. Keep a little edge all around. Oops. I need to do some scooching up here. All right, cut that straight. And then I've got some other die cuts here. Well, I'm using a moment. I've got to get dies out of this one. I should have started this other card first. I'm using the die out of the Unbounded Love dies. And it's this one here. But I've already gone ahead and cut that. And I put my paper onto one of our self-adhesive sheets. All right, adhesive sheets, I guess they're called. Make it a little easier for attaching it down, all these little spots. But I've got a white center, and we're going to take your pick tool and pop these centers out of this die. All right. Get those all out. Take that off carefully so I don't rip it. There we go. This is going to be the framework of our sentiment. Let me get rid of all my bits and pieces here. Push this off to the side. And add some other little pieces in here. You don't want to leave a dirty die, so make sure you get it cleaned out good. I guess with the self-adhesive sheets, it's kind of being stubborn, doesn't want to come out of there. Okay, so that's all cleaned out. And I've already die cut another one using the Misty Moonlight, and that's going to go into our center of our frame. But I'm going to heat emboss that first with some white embossing powder. So let me get this out of the way so I don't make a big mess here. And I'm going to be using our thank you stamp. And that comes from the Wildflower Designs. I'm using this one. Let me grab all my embossing tool kits. And I'm going to take my embossing buddy, that aside for a moment, and I'm just going to tap a little of that powder on there so I don't get anything sticking where I don't want it to stick. And I'm going to use the white embossing powder and my Versamark ink pad. And I'm also going to use our tray today. I usually use just a paper, but I'm going to use the tray today. So we're going to stamp our sentiment in that embossing Versamark ink and make sure I've got a good coating on there. And I'm going to stamp that onto that portion of our Misty Moonlight label. Close up our Versamark ink pad. And I'm not even in the camera view here. And I like to do it a couple of times to make sure I got good coverage of our embossing powder. And I'm going to bring my brush over here and clean this little speck off right here. We'll set that aside so we don't have a big mess. Over there. And I've got my heat gun here. We're going to use that to melt the embossing powder. And I lost my tweezers. We don't burn our fingers here. I'm going to melt the embossing powder. Sometimes it takes a moment for the heat gun to warm up, so to get the right temperature. So I'm going to let that warm up a little bit. So there it goes. It's melting it. It's kind of warm on my fingers. I should have had my tweezers. Turn that around. All right, so that's done. You don't want to overheat your embossing powder. There we go. Thank you. And I'm going to let that sit there a moment. I'm going to add my frame here. And using the adhesive sheets, I'm able to pull off that backing. That'll make it a sticker. So it'll stick without using any other glue. Make sure my card's opening right. And this one I'm going to place on this other side. Yeah. No, right there's fine. And I'm on a camera view. So making sure that's straight. Press that down. And then I'll take the inner portion of that label and I'm going to attach that with just regular glue, adhesive. And it's like a puzzle piece. You just kind of put it back in where the other one had cut out. It matches up perfectly. There we go. Thank you. And I still got this white piece I can use for something else later, so I'm going to save that. All right, now the inside is our 4 by 5 1/4 inch basic white. And we're going to stamp that. I'm using the Thank You So Much stamp set that comes from This comes from our Simply Xenia, and it's got the sentiment right here. Thank you so much. But we're not going to use the thank you part. We're going to mask that off, and we're just going to use the so much. And I'm just going to use our black memento ink to do that with. So I've already masked that off. I don't want the thank you. I'm going to leave this so much. And we're going to ink that portion up. But make sure that you have your washi tape covering what you don't want. And I'm just going to ink up so much. And be sure you take off that washi tape or you'll have a mess. And it's going to stamp right in this area. Close up our ink pad. And then I'm going to run a little strip of the designer series paper across this side here, the left side. And this measures, I think it's a 1/2 inch. Yeah, it'd be a 1/2 inch by 4 inches. Yeah. Looks like it's crooked, but we're not going to sweat the small stuff. Maybe we meant it to be that way. And then we'll trim out that excess. I always like it to be a little bit longer. You can always cut off, but if it's too short, then it's hard to add anything back to it. So, all right, so much. And that's going to go on the inside of our card. It's pretty quiet today. We've got beautiful sunshiny day here in Arkansas. I pray for those that are in the hurricane zones there that are going through all this. I can't even imagine what they're going through. It's got to be horrible. All right, and then we're going to use adhesive back sequins trio. And I'm going to use the white ones that are on there. It comes in the white, the green, and then the pink. We're using the white. And I'm going to take my paper pick tool, the putty end, and we're going to remove 3 of those. And I'm just going to put those at the bottom of our label. And I didn't do them really straight here. Let's scooch this one down. All right, so there's our first card. Thank you so much. All right, let me set some of these aside. I'll leave those up because I'll be using those again. And our second card. I just make a little room here. So here's our second card. It says, sending flowers and thinking of you. Get my instructions out there. And on the inside, we've got, you've been on my mind. So this one's going to be using a sentiment that comes from the Simply Xenia. We're using sending flowers and thinking of you. And then the other sentiment comes from the Wildflower designs that goes on the inside, and that's going to be You've Been on My Mind. So I'm using both stamp sets. And the base of this one is going to be Early Espresso, and that measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. Whoops, that one is stuck there. So let's burnish that fold on that. Oops. And then we've got our designer series paper, which I'm using this pattern right here. And for the front part, we're going to use, let me see, which one is it? It'll be this pattern here. So it'll be this one and this one. So first off, we've got this designer series paper, and that's 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to attach that to our card front to get that out of our way. And we're going to keep a border going all around that, an even border. That was falling out of my chair. He had to scooch a little bit. All right, and then next we've got another Early Espresso, and this measures 3 1/2 inches by 4 3/4 inches. I'm just double checking my measurements. Yeah. Okay, yeah. 3 1/2 inches by 4 3/4 inches. And then we've got our designer series paper again, and this measures 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and we're going to trim this down to 1 inch strips. I'm going to do that with my paper trimmer. Over here, and I'm going to go and use this side of my paper trimmer, making sure you're in view here. So I'm going to put that at 1 inch. And you want to lay those so they stay in order. So I'm just going to push them down here for now. And another one at 1 inch. So they'll go like this. And I'm just going to lay those there for a moment. Put my paper trimmer away. And these will layer onto our Early Espresso. And I just want to kind of lay them out here to get a visual. All right, now we're going to attach those with our adhesive. I'm going to bring my silicone mat over here so I don't get glue everywhere. Put those up again. I'm going to lay this sideways. It seems like I can attach better if I lay it sideways. I'm going to do the outside ones first. Keeping the same distance. And crooked, I think it's okay. And then our center one. All these dimensions will be on my blog later. Like I said, I probably won't get my blog finished until tomorrow. So I've got some errands I've got to run after I get done here. Okay, so there's our 3 strips there. Now that's going to go onto our card front, and I'm not using dimensionals on this. I'm just gluing it flat down. And we'll put that on our card front. Right. Okay, there's our card so far, but we're not done yet. We are going to add some other things to that. Let me see here. I'm going to die cut a couple leaves here, and I've already added my adhesive sheet to the back of that. I was trying to figure out which was the front, one was the back. And I'm using the leaves that come from the unbounded, no. Yeah, it comes from the Unbounded Love dies. There's a couple leaves in there. We're going to die cut those using my Baby Boss here, the blue, Oho Blue. My plate's all over here. And we'll cut out our leaves. This, moving everything here. Jiggling the table. So those are already cut out. Yeah. Stuck inside the paper, one stuck in the die. So let's do a little jiggling here to get those all loosened up. And I want my take your pick tool, and we're going to pop out those centers of the flower. Now, we're going to set those aside. We need to go ahead and stamp our banner first. Okay, this is for our sentiment. This is a 1/2 inch by 4 inches of our basic white. We're going to stamp our sentiment on there. And we're going to be using that Sending Flowers and Thinking of You. And our black Memento ink. So ink that up and stamp it onto that strip. Hopefully it's straight. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I can be challenged with getting things straight on my stamping sometimes. So I lucked out there. And we're going to banner cut the ends of that strip. Just at an angle, snip them off. And we're going to place that up on dimensionals. Let me see, do I have any here? I'm finding the little ones. Where's my bigger ones at? I don't know. I'll just get a new one out of the package. It's probably time to order them again. Looks like that's my last sheet. So, get one of those off. I'm going to put 3 dimensionals on the back of our sentiment strip there. I don't want it sinking in the middle. So place one in the middle and one at each end. Pop those backings off with our Take Your Pick tool. Making sure it opens the right way. I don't want it upside down. All right, this is going to go across our lower portion. And is that straight? Looks good to me. All right. And now we can take our backings off of our flowers here. Sometimes they all come out when you pull off that sticky portion, but they're hanging on for dear life today. So I'm going to pop them out. And I'm kind of stuck to my fingers now. Oh, I forgot to tell you that JoJo had her first birthday this past Saturday. So she's 1 year old. We still got to take her shopping. She got some new balls and she got a sweater, a jacket, but she needs a new collar. So we're going to take her one day and get that for her. Take her shopping. And I'm sure she'll have to have a new toy also. So got a tag along here. Let me get that off of there. So we're going to place that one die flower up at the top portion of our banner. I still got things sticking to me here. And our other one, we'll get that out of the die. And brush those out so I don't get them all on my fingers. There we go. Put those in my magnetic dish I've got sitting right here. And this one is going to go Kitty Wonka's across the bottom. Makes it so much easier when these have the adhesive on them already, so you don't have to worry about trying to get the glue where you want it and keep from getting it everywhere. So that works out good. All right, and then I have tied a bow, a double bow, using the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. You get 5 rolls in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing one. It could be the black one I'm out of in this one. So it's a white and 2 beige and then vanilla, I think that one is. So anyway, I've already done the bow already. And that's going to go underneath here. And we're going to place that using one of our mini glue dots. And I'm just using the mini glue dots that come into my paper pumpkin kits. I'm going to roll that into a log, kind of. And attach our bow right there at the bottom. And we need to add a little bit of bling to this. I'm going to use the gold texture adhesive back dots. I'm going to place 3 of those onto our card. And I'm going to use the smaller ones. We're going to put 2 up here at an angle. And then the third one, we're going to put, I put that one on my sentiment, but I'm thinking it'd be right there instead. And then for our inside, we've got our basic white. And that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm missing something on this. I need some early espresso. So I'm going to grab my packet over here. And find that. Okay. And I just want a thin strip, so I'm going to grab a scrap of that out of here. We're going to trim that down. Now, got all kinds of scraps in here, but nothing that is suitable. Is that wide enough? Yeah, that'll work. Just putting our paper trimmer over here, and I want that to be, maybe 3/8 inches by 4 inches. And we'll glue that across the bottom. Oh, I just found it. It's right there. I already had it cut. All right. It was stuck to my silicone mat. All right. And let's attach that. I guess first I ought to stamp my sentiments. So let me put the glue on there and come back with our sentiment, which says, "You've been on my mind." And we will stamp that first, just to make sure I don't mess it up, because if I mess it up, then I got to turn my paper over. Tap, tap, tap. And it looks like I'm on a camera view here. That looks good. Now we can attach this to our bottom. Make sure that's straight. Looks pretty good. Bring my glue back over here. And we're going to put that inside of our card. All right. I've got a little smudge right there. Is that glue? Yeah. All right. Sending flowers and thinking of you. And on the inside, you've been on my mind. So that's our second card. And I'm going to move things out of the way here and go on to our third card. And we're going to be doing some coloring with this one. Let me clean up my mess here. All my bits and pieces. This is our third card. Make a little bit of room here. We're going to be doing all right. I've done a lot of the prep work on this one ahead of time, and so hopefully that'll help. But we're doing good on time, I think. Looks pretty good. And hope I have instructions in here. Yeah. Okay, this one I cased from the catalog. And It is on page 40. It's this one right here. I did change up the twine. I don't have that one, so I'm using ribbon instead. So it's on page 40. And here's the card here. It says, "You've been on my mind," and sending happy thoughts. Set that over there so I can have a visual. Well, doesn't want to stand up there. Got my arms in the way. All right, so we're going to start out using our Moody Mauve. All right. Moody Mauve is 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and then it's scored in the center at 5 1/2 inches. We're going to burnish that edge of our card. And usually I have my cards going portrait, but we're going to go landscape with this one. So it's going to open this way. And then I've got another Moody Mauve, and this is 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches, and that's going to be our mat that we're going to be placing our things on. All right, so the paper that we're using is this pattern right here. And I'm using the dies that are with that bundle, and it's the Wildflower dies. And we're going to be using this little die right here. So let me show you what I did. I've already done a lot of the prep work ahead of time. I have cut out 6 of those using this die, as you can see. So 6 of those. And we're going to bring our silicone mat over here, and we're going to start attaching those to our Moody Mauve. So I'm kind of lay them, do a dry fit here. We're going to lay those down and do a dry fit. Leave a little space in between each one. And this is going to go here. Over here. And one here. And then this one's going to be one for each side. It'll go like this. So let's get started with that. I'm just trying to move my card out of the way so you can have a better view. We're going to start attaching these down. So I'm just going to lift them up and start gluing. It took me a minute to figure out how to do this. Looking at the book, and it was kind of confusing at first. So I'm going to line those top edges up to the top of that Moody Mauve base mat. And I'm just going to run my glue across that top portion. And like I said, I'm leaving a space in between so that the Moody Mauve will show through. And then we'll do this middle one. The bottom middle one. And you measure how far down to come on that. I gotta turn this sideways so I can see. Oops, moving the whole paper here. And get that straight. And you could use any pattern on this. It doesn't have to be this one. And the last bottom one here. And we're going to trim off all this excess that's hanging over, so don't worry about that. And this one's going to go there, so we only need this one side. And let our glue dry for a moment there. Make sure it's attached good. And then we'll turn these over. And I'm going to grab my paper snips. And I know I'm going to get glue all over my scissors, so I have to clean those afterwards with my alcohol. So we're just turn the mat over and trim that off. And I got to get a little closer on this one. Okay. And I'm going to trim this one off, and we're going to be using that for the other side. So go ahead and glue that down. I want it to go this way. So I'm just going to put my glue on my mat itself. Am I still on the camera? Yeah. And again, I'm just going to let that sit for a moment to dry. Get my glue dry. And I'm going to finish trimming these off while I'm waiting on that. You could also use your paper trimmer to do this, but it's just as easy to use the scissors. All right, let me set these aside so I can clean that later. Get the glue off my scissors. And put that over there. I still got some glue sticking up there. Got that. Okay, so we're done with that portion of it. So this is what it should look like when you're done. It's the camera picking it up okay. And now we're going to be using our ribbon. It comes from, this is our rustic striped ribbon. It's the wild wheat. And I think it's on back order right now, but it's supposed to be back in shortly here. I think the week of the 21st. So not too long to wait. And our ribbon is 7 inches, and that's going to go across this middle portion. So I'm going to turn that over and use my, I'm going to use my tear and tape to attach my ribbon to the back side. And let me make sure I want where I want to put that. Right about there. And another strip on the other side. And I take your pick tool. It has disappeared on me. Here it is. Grab those backings off. run that across the middle. Well, it's going to be a little bit lower than what the middle is. Attach those on the back. And then I can bring my card base over here and we'll attach that to our card front. I'm just using my trustworthy old Tombow glue. You could use tear and tape on the back of this too if you'd like. And we're going to attach that to our card front, leaving a little space going around it, a little border. Press that all down good. So here's our card so far. All right, and now we're going to do some stamping, which I don't have those mounted. Grab some acrylic blocks over here. All right, we should have a good variety here to make these work. Yeah, there we go. I guess we're using all of our stamps. We didn't have those mounted. All right, let's do some stamping here. And I am using, I'm not using the black memento. I'm going to use, we've got Early Espresso and Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to start with the Misty Moonlight. We're going to do the larger flowers. So I want one of these, the larger one. And the other twiggy ones, we want two of these. That wasn't a very good one right there. Let me do that over. Well, that one's not good either. Third time's a charm. All right, so we're done with that. Misty Moonlight ink pad. And now we're going to use the Early Espresso. And we're going to stamp our flowers. Okay, we want two of these. And two of these. Okay, and then I'm going to color those. I'm not coloring the blue ones. Those are already finished. I'm going to color the flowers using our wild wheat, and I'm using the dark and the light. And I'm going to start with the dark. So I'm just going to color one of these flowers because I've already done them ahead of time. You don't need to sit and watch me color. So just like that. And then come back with the light wild wheat and do some shading. And the leaves are going to be our mossy meadow. And I'm using the dark and the light. And make sure I color my finger. Trying to hurry here. And I'm going to color in the leaves. So there's one of our flowers. And I'm going to do the other flowers. So I'm going to use the dark wild wheat again. And just kind of do some shading, scribbling. And come back in with the light wild wheat. And Mossy Meadow back over here. We're starting with the dark again. And the light, Mossy Meadow. All right. So that's kind of a sample of how to do that. But I've already done a lot of that prep work ahead of time. So let me bring all of our pieces over here. So there's all of our pieces, our flowers. And I am missing, okay, I was missing the bigger one. All right, so we're going to position these onto our card front. And I'm going to kind of do a dry fit here to see where I want them at. My stomach's growling. Must be lunchtime. Don't know if you heard that or not. It's kind of loud. Okay, sort of like that. And then I've die cut our label from our wild wheat, and I used the Unbounded Love dies, and I use this label. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment on there before we attach this. And I'm just going to use our, well, I think I'll use the early espresso ink pad to stamp that with. And it says, "You've been on my mind," but I need to clean my stamp first because we've already inked it up with our black memento and I don't want to cross-contaminate my inks. I'm using my Simply Chamois. Tap that dry. So I guess everybody must be busy today. I hope you watch the replay and share and like it and all those good things. All right, we're going to stamp this onto our label. And this is going to go over the top of our flowers, so that's why I was trying to do a dry fit first. And I'm going to be using some dimensional strips here to put across the bottom. Oops, a little extra here. Whoop, that went flying on me. Have to trim that off. Okay, so that's going to sit right about there. I need to close this ink pad up so I don't have an accident with it. All right, I'm going to start attaching my flowers. So I'm just going to use my glue to attach those. And kind of get an idea where I want them. Guess I need to move some of these out of my way so I can see what I'm doing. This is going to go on this side. Get the flowers out of the way there. And another one right about there. And now I can fill those gaps in with my flowers. I'm going to do these larger ones on the side. Runaway flower there. And now we're filling with the smaller flowers. Oops. Stick to my finger instead of the paper. And right there. And fill in that little gap right there. Okay, don't want to add any more. That didn't stick for me for some reason. More glue. 2, 3. Put that one a little bit lower. All right, got some extra flowers there in case I want. All right, and this is going to go over the top of that. So I'm just going to put glue on this side and the dimensionals on the bottom side. Try that sticky strip off. And then we'll place our label down over our ribbon. And is that straight? I think that's straight. All right. Now we're going to add our bow that we've already made ahead of time. And that's going to go on this side. So I'm going to be using mini glue dots. Bring my roll over here and put that up. Take your pick tool, take that off. And I'm going to put that over our bow on the right side of our sentiment label. And this is a double bow that I made ahead of time. And I need to snip off one end. Let me get my ribbon scissors. And snip that off. Okay. So let's put some embellishments on that. I'm going to be using the same embellishments that I used on our other card, the gold textured adhesive back dots. And I take your pick tool, the putty end, and I'm going to use the larger ones on this one. I'm going to put, well, this one I put them on my label, so let me go ahead and do that. 2 there, and another one Maybe right about there. I like to put my embellishments at odd numbers, so I usually go with 3s. Okay, you've been on my mind. Now let's do the inside of our card. And lost the inside. No, it's right here. I've got our basic white, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then a strip of that designer series paper that is a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inches, or give or take. We're going to trim off the excess. So I want to stamp sending happy thoughts. And I'm going to use our early espresso ink pad again. And I've got my cardstock was upside down. And stamp that right about there in the center upper portion. And I'm going to switch out ink pads, and I'm going to bring back my Moody Mauve ink pad. And we're going to do a little decorating here on the inside. So I'm going to stamp that off. And how do I want to put this? Right about there. Stamp it off. And another one up here above the S. Close up that ink pad. And then I have our designer series paper, which is the same as what our front paper is, and that's a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inches. And I'll run that across the bottom of our inside layer. I'd use my silicone mat, but it's all full of glue right now, so I'd probably get more of a mess than what it's worth. So we're going to chance it this way. I'll turn that over and snip off that excess. That'll go on the inside of our card. Open our card. Okay. So it says, "You've been on my mind, sending happy thoughts." So that's our third and final card for today. Let me bring those back out here. Oops. Put it the right direction here. Let me, what did I do with the lid for my glue? Clean up a little bit here. Okay. So, I don't know if I can get them all in camera view here. Maybe. Well, maybe not. Okay, so there's our 3 cards for today. I hope you enjoyed those as much as I did making them. And if you have any questions, be sure you leave in the comments, and I'll look back and get back with you after I close my video down. And I'm glad that you're here today. Hope everybody's doing well. And I will be back next Wednesday, October. Let me get my calendar. It'll be October 16th already, the middle of the month. And it'll be my normal time. It'll be 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Mountain Time, and 8:30 Pacific Time. So until then, y'all have a good rest of the week. And let me know which card was your favorite. I'm kind of partial to this one. It took a little bit more work and figuring out, but I think I'm the happiest with that one, the way it turned out. So I think that's probably my favorite. Okay, so until next week, we'll see you then. Thank you for being here. Bye bye.